we got ourselves a guest. So this means we're really falling into the thing that is SEC Media Days, and it is Paul Martin, a man that knows very much about quite a bit of things because, well, you're the dude that focuses on documentaries, and I need to know a little bit more about you first off. What this is all about. You did something with the SEC last year, and it's a pretty big deal, I hear.
We did. Yeah, we did. We've historically made shows about Formula One and golf, full swing for Netflix, and we've made shows about tennis, Tour de France, Six Nations rugby, and we got the opportunity to come in and really delve into the world of the SEC, which obviously you can tell from my accent is not wasn't necessarily my sort of home territory. You know, I'd been a big NFL fan, but never even been to a college football game before last year.
I gotcha.
So it was great to dive into a world that people feel so passionately about and care so passionately about. I mean, you only have to look at today, the amount of media outlets here covering it, and we were here last year actually, so we got to see it kind of firsthand. And it was an amazing experience, and hopefully we've made an amazing show that captures the essence of life in the SEC.
Now, and you guys are having a special screening tonight as well, and that's something that, of course, the media members will be able to attend. They'll be able to see the first episode. And honestly, everybody else is going to be very tired. I am going to be just like super pumped to go and watch this thing. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. I've always been a fan of Hard Knocks. I remember whenever this was announced, I looked through all the work that you've done before, Formula One Drive to Survive. That was the Netflix documentary where the guy was literally climbing out of the fire, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was that one. So talk a little bit about some of the emotions we might be feeling from this, because I feel like that, death-defying type of stunt, I feel like it's hard to kind of capture in football, but
it's interesting that, you use that example and it was Roman Grosjean kind of coming out of the fire and I think he was in Bahrain, and the challenge with these shows is you always want the stakes to feel like they're life and death, and with Formula One they really are. These guys crash, their cars go on fire, and they really do kind of face death. But what you realize is when you do other sports is, for these kids that play for the universities, for the coaches, it is life and death. This is their life, and they feel so passionately about the schools. The coaches feel so passionately about the players and a responsibility to the communities and the fans, that it really feels life and death. It's not an exaggeration to say there's those same kind of emotions, and you see it. I mean, like I said, I was really fortunate to go to a bunch of games this year, and the atmosphere is like, people used to say to me, oh, the atmosphere at the games is like English soccer, and I'm a big soccer fan, and but I think it's another level. English soccer, you don't have full marching bands, you don't have people, so it's completely unique in the world of sport, I think, and and obviously what we wanted to do was make a show that hardcore fans like yourself and the people that are here this week will respond to, will enjoy, will get to see kind of behind the scenes of some of the stories that they saw unfold over the year. But for me, I was like, if I can make a show that some of my mates in England would go like, hey man, college football's, it's pretty cool. I'd watch it. That for me was what we really wanted to do, to really capture the essence and show people that maybe have never thought about watching the sport or supporting an SEC university, and hopefully we've done it, and hopefully it'll appeal to the hardcore fans. I certainly think they're going to get a kick out of seeing the coaches and the players and all that stuff, but hopefully the new fans that can come into the world and can come into sport, like myself.
Exactly.
Like I say, I'm a 1 year fan of the SEC and college football, and I probably spent my every single weekend like either in front of the TV or at a game, and loved it.
What a time to get into college sports in the first place. I mean, we think back 6-7 years ago, you're getting into college, you're playing for a football team, you're not getting paid to play for a football team. And of course, you said life and death, it's not too far off. Some people want to make a career out of this so they can support their families, so they can get out of a situation that they're in. Now it's got a little bit easier for them to get to that point to where they're able to make some money and all of that. Talk about some of those changes that you've had to kind of figure out right out the gates with some of these players throughout this documentary that we might, get to follow along with.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it was even complicated to try and pull the show together in the first place, because you obviously had, the SEC as an organization, the individual schools, and then now within the individual schools with NIL, and it was like, hey, well, this player may have an agent, or this player may be part of a collective, or misfit, and it's, and listen, I don't have a huge amount of experience in this world, so I can't really, I'm not really placed to comment whether it's good, bad, whatever, but, it's complicated. And I think it's complicated for coaches. I think it's complicated for schools. I think it's probably complicated for players. I think, that kind of old school model of probably doing 3 or 4 years at the same university, maybe meant something. And I, like I say, I don't know enough about the world to know the impact that it's having, in a real sense. But it's crazy out there at the moment.
Definitely is, and I want you to talk a little bit. Talk with Paul Martin, of course. You've done a lot of these different documentary series before. Of course, we talked about the Drive to Survive. Of course, there's the tennis on top of that. I mean, the list goes on. Talk about some of the fun moments you've had within those documentaries that have just made you realize how much you really love your job, because, of course, we're focusing on football. But as a person who loves film development and, of course, telling a story, I want to know from your point of view, what really grabbed you within your career of making these documentaries.
I think for me, I'm a huge sports fan, and I'm a huge film and TV fan. And so, for me, it was about being able to blend two things that I really, really love. And, I can tell you, anytime anyone gives me a VIP pass or a behind the scenes pass to any sport, I feel so lucky. And you
have a collection of them, just like a bunch of the lanyards?
I'm not really a huge collector, but I'm sure they're somewhere in my house. But it's just fun, and it's just such a privileged position to be in. When I look back at, we've been, as you get to know personalities through shows, on F1, I remember Pierre Gasly, a few weeks after losing his best friend who died in a Formula 2 crash, went on and podiumed. I think it was in the Brazil Grand Prix.
Yeah, that's a story.
And I think the emotion that was going through the race, the emotion that our team felt was extraordinary, because we really had got to know Pierre and had seen what Pierre had gone through. You mentioned the Roman Grosjean crash. I mean, that, I remember seeing his car go behind the barrier, explode into flames,
and it felt like 30 minutes passed.
And I, for sure, I thought he was dead. For sure, I was like, "There's no way anyone's walking out of that." But, and you couldn't, from where we were, you couldn't see. You just saw this ball of flame, and it when you're at a Formula 1 race. It's a bad accident because everybody goes quiet.
Yeah,
it just suddenly nobody's talking, and that was a bad one. And there was silence. And then suddenly you just heard his voice and you saw those pictures of him coming from the flame. And it was one of the most extraordinary things I've ever seen. But I felt physically sick because I thought, what are we supposed to do here? Drivers died. The drivers,
It's the tough thing, because I mean, you're trying to tell a story. You're dealing with, it's almost like reality TV, but it's the realest of the real. And I think that's why it can be some of the best. And with college sports, of course, we got the band, we got all the emotion, we got all the tradition to it. Can you give us a little taste of what we might get? Now, it doesn't have to be what's coming up in the first episode, what's coming up in the second, but just something that we might be able to really feel like it's fall already.
So at Box to Box, we've always considered ourselves lucky producers. We always, whenever we seem to do these shows, extraordinary things seem to happen. And one of the teams that we were following was obviously Vanderbilt. There was a lot of, as we went into it, there was a lot of people kind of writing Vandy off and talking,
that makes sense.
Talking bad about kind of Vandy. And the weekend that we happened to be with them and film with them was the weekend that they beat Alabama. And one of the most extraordinary things I've ever seen. And the episode is, Pavia as a character. And, that Vandy result is amazing, and it even goes back to, I think, Nick Saban was on a show saying there's only one easy game in the SEC, and that's Vandy, and and I think Pavia references that in the show, and so it's great. Like I say, we again, with my knowledge of college football, I never could have predicted anything like that happening, but it was, it's amazing, and I think people are going to get a real kick out of seeing what it meant to Vandy and what an incredible result it was.
Yeah, I think it's going to be cool. One thing that I grew up thinking with football and just sports in general is, they're wearing face masks, their helmets. You can't really see the person themselves. This is before I was watching all of the documentaries that they had in the NFL, but for college football, it still feels like the same. There's not a lot of a spotlight directly on some of these players, and now we're hearing some come out and call out certain teams, and I think that's good for the sport as well as it's a cause people to be a little bit more frustrated than usual, but I think that's a big part of showing off the sport and growing the sport as well, is giving these players true character, because that's what they have. But of course, all they know is football.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, you're definitely going to see Pavia as a character. You're going to see the Weeks brothers in episode 1 tonight. If you come and see it, they're great. Really, really. I mean, could have walked out as kind of central casting. Both brothers almost look identical. I mean, you can't even. We'd be in the edit, and I was like, which one is that? Is that Whit or is that Wes? Or it's crazy. So an amazing story. Two brothers and playing for LSU, and just so proud of being part of that organization, and proud to play with each other and enjoying playing with each other. And and that's what as I said in the beginning, for us, these shows are never about did LSU make the playoffs or did whatever, the results are the results. We really just try and get under the skin of, the characters and the world, and really tell, slightly different stories, within the SEC.
Paul Martin with us, executive producer of the new SEC series that's going to be on Netflix. Now, Paul, tell us a little bit more about when we're going to be able to watch this. Not just me and the rest of the media, but people at their homes that just have the normal Netflix account.
This as you started that question, I was like, I don't know. I think it's I've probably got it written down somewhere, and I should have prepared for it, but I think it's just August, certainly before the new season starts.
Okay.
I think roundabout, I want to say the 6th of August, but I don't know that that's true. But I think the trailer's been released today to the general public as well. So
should have a date on it.
Should have a date on it.
If there's any place to not have the date, it's this show right here. I'm going to be honest with you. But Paul, I appreciate you hopping on with us, man. First guest, I think, live with us on the Blitz, so that's huge for you, and that's huge for us. So this is like a plaque I got to send you in the mail. We'll have to exchange our contact later.
Absolutely.
But I very much appreciate it, and I'm very much looking forward to this series. I've seen what you guys could do in the past. Put in it with college football. I would say I'd say my favorite spectacle. I would say it's going to work out pretty well. But Paul, I appreciate you, man, and I hope you enjoy all the time that you just can soak up SEC Media Days and this wonderful, historic Hall of Fame that we got here in Atlanta.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. We got to hop into a break. Hopefully Joe can hop on the other side, because I guess he can't hear me. Either way, when we come back, though, we are going to get ready for LSU and what Brian Kelly's got to say here on the podium in just a few moments. So stick with us here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, ESPN Winchester, and WZZN TV.
Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. This is The Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Never went down to Georgia. He was looking for a soul to steal.
The Drive in Atlanta is brought to you by Woody and Ford. Alabama's F-150 Superstore. Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Rise Real Estate, and Adams. We know great homes. Eagle Masonry and Insulation will save you money. Jacob Title, the place to call for all your closing needs. And by Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we show up.
Sure, Valley Equipment Rental takes care of the homeowner and his needs, but how about the pros out there? Well, Valley Equipment has the big stuff as well. The equipment you need to get any job done. I'm talking about the big track hoe excavators, from the 30,000-pound mid-size one to the big boy 50,000-pound units. Need a dozer on the job? Well, they've got them up to 105 horsepower, and that's a good-sized machine. Plus, Valley Equipment has more lifts than anyone around. Up to 80-foot booms that reach 56 feet with a 10,000-pound capacity. 2 locations, North and South Parkway. Check them out today.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
You guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10-plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
Your Fox 54 weather, brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen. A quiet night expected for this Monday. Across the Tennessee Valley, we'll see temperatures once again falling to the low 70s for the overnight. Looking ahead for our Tuesday, though, another round of scattered showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon is in the forecast. High temperatures once again reach the low 90s.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I'll roll up, I'll roll up, I'll roll up, shorty, I'll roll up, I'll roll up, I'll roll up.
And welcome back into the Blitz. John Abraham with Joe. Joe, are you on the other end? Can I hear you, Joe? I didn't need to hear you to know that you're there with me.
Yes, I am here.
I can hear you. You're very quiet. How do I turn him up? Yeah, we'll figure that out. I can hear you, Joe. Continue to talk. You haven't got to talk.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What sucks about it is the interview you did with Paul Martin just a minute ago was absolutely tremendous. And so he was a very extremely interesting guy just because of all the different shows that he has done before getting into the SEC, between tennis, boxing, all of this that he grew up with. It was absolutely interesting to be able to talk to him. So, so no, as you can tell, I am back in studio, and John is in Atlanta at SEC Media Days.
Yeah, and it's been a lot of fun so far. It's still crazy to think we've got 3 more days of this, and we're not even halfway through today. But we do have Brian Kelly coming up. Excited to see what he's got to say about his upcoming team. And we've talked plenty, throughout the year about his offseason, what he's got to do to get this team rolling. I think still it's going to be a lot of questions focused around that defense.
Well, and a lot of this as well is just how are you going to be able to break through the top now? Because if you were the number 2 team in the SEC, the 2 years ago before Texas and Oklahoma came here. If you stay the same and Alabama, Texas, and Oklahoma and Georgia get better, well, now you're looking at being 5 or 6. So, doing what you've done in the past is no longer working because now you're having to recruit against Texas, where your biggest argument at LSU was that, hey, you are right beside the state of Texas. It's an easy spot for you to be able to get to for your parents and recruiting wise. But at the same time, you also need to be able to recruit now against Texas and Oklahoma, being that they're in the conference. And now where Brian Kelly is, the problem with Brian Kelly is you're supposed to have one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the country now. And how is Garrett Nussmeier going to be able to react to that? Is he going to be one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the country the way he's supposed to be? Because you now are having to deal with all of this talent that's in the SEC that is not in Baton Rouge, because obviously now you have other options.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And we are roughly 2 minutes away from Brian Kelly getting onto the podium and talking about this team and what they've got to offer. And then on top of that, later on, we will be hearing from Lane Kiffin as well,
Yes.
Ole Miss head coach. And, Joe, I feel like there's a lot of the similar questions about this Ole Miss team. I mean, they seem like they are an upper echelon squad, but they just aren't able to get it done. They haven't been able to get it done, and of course, they haven't made it to the postseason yet. And these are 2 teams that are looking to make that postseason run in 2025.
Well, and how are you going to build on your 2024? Because you were a great team in 2024.
Jackson Dart was wasted.
Well,
he was wasted.
You won 10 football games this year, but it wasn't about the 10 that you won. It was about the 3 that you lost.
Yeah.
And so you lose to Kentucky, which quite frankly, you had no reason losing to Kentucky, especially in Oxford. Okay, you lose to LSU in an overtime game that I think that obviously it's a Baton Rouge game, so be it. And at the time when you played Florida late in the season, this was a different Florida team because of DJ Lagway. So now what are you going to do to turn those 3 losses into 1 or 2 wins? And you're now having to do it with a different quarterback. And is it going to be Austin Simmons that is going to be the one that's going to step in and make this offense run the way that Lane Kiffin has been able to do? Because now Jackson Dart is in the NFL. So with the way that the offense is, skill possession wise, you had a ton of transfers. I mean, as much as Lane Kiffin wants to talk about how the transfer portal needs to be adjusted, he is also one that's like, look, man, until you adjust it, I'm going to take advantage of it.
No doubt about it. And Joe, we got to cut you off because we are getting Brian Kelly up on the podium right now, and we want to bring you guys all of that action. We will continue that conversation when we get back from it, but Brian Kelly from LSU.
Tigers guided LSU to a 9-4 mark with a 3-game winning streak to end the season and a bowl win over Baylor in the Texas Bowl. He's a native of Everett, Massachusetts, a 4-year letter winner at linebacker and 2-time team captain at Assumption College. Brian and his wife, Pocky, have 3 children. Pocky is here with one of their daughters, Grace. They also have a son, Patrick, and let me go back through this. 3 children, Patrick, Grace, and Kenzel. Grace is here with Pocky. The Kellys are active in community outreach and have established the Kelly Cares Foundation, which has donated nearly $8 million to support causes related to fighting against breast cancer since its founding in 2008. I learned backstage, Coach Kelly and Pocky checked off a bucket list item, hiking the south rim of the Grand Canyon just about a month ago. LSU head football coach Brian Kelly.
I'm not starting until that's over. Go Tigers. Love it. Well, welcome. It's an exciting part of this month because we're close to football season. And clearly, as a football coach, we love this part of the year. I think what stands out to me is that when I get this opportunity to talk to everybody, it's really about generating the continuous excitement from our fan base for LSU football. We have a incredibly passionate fan base. We've sold over 75,000 season tickets. We lead the country in season ticket sales. And so as we get close to the season, you know, you get these opportunities in front of the media, and I know you want to talk specifics. You want to talk about some of the hot topics that are confronting us. What confronts me is how we continue to generate the incredible support. And that means what are we about to do? And that is continue the vision of graduating champions at LSU. Every single day, that's what we talk about. I know you find that hard to believe in a sense, but that's what we talk about. We are still college. This is still about college. This is not the NFL. And that's a great thing for a guy like myself that started in Division II and has worked my way through 5 different programs. It's really about the student athlete and the relationships with student athletes and helping them get to that goal of graduating and helping them get to that goal of winning championships. And so we have a clear process in place for our guys, and that process is what I love to do. I come up here every year because I love the relationships with players. I love developing our players. I love the ability on a day-to-day basis to have a transformational relationship with them, so when they leave our program, they're successful in the NFL, they're successful in life. And I know sometimes it's sound bites and, you know, quick observations, but that's my life work. I'm much more interested in the significance. We are still college. This is still about college. This is not the NFL. And that's a great thing for a guy like myself that started in Division II and has worked my way through 5 different programs. It's really about the student athlete and the relationships with student athletes and helping them get to that goal of graduating and helping them get to that goal of winning championships. And so we have a clear process in place for our guys. And that process is what I love to do. I come up here every year because I love the relationships with players. I love developing our players. I love the ability on a day-to-day basis to have a transformational relationship with them. So when they leave our program, they're successful in the NFL, they're successful in life. And I know sometimes it's sound bites and, you know, quick observations, but that's my life work. I'm much more interested in the significance of what we're doing than just the success. And so I start my talk with you about certainly excited for our fan base and this season, but I'm more excited for our players and the opportunity that they're going to get to continue in this developmental process. So, you know, when you talk about how you get there, you need to look at where we started. And when we started in 2022, we didn't have a full roster. We needed to upgrade our guys' mindset as it relates to academics. And we've been able to do that with this first year in 2025 having a perfect GSR. And that, to me, are some of the underpinnings that I know you're more interested in talking about other things, but this is what excites me about LSU football. Our ability to graduate our players now and to move them on and see the success that they're having in the NFL because they're prepared. They're ready to handle what the NFL has to offer them. And so for me, that's success, right? That is its success because it's significant. We're talking about young men that are now able to get a degree and play for championships and move on to whatever their vocation is. Look, the expectations are always high, and we've got some outstanding players. You know, I think you start always with the quarterback and Garrett Nussmeier. I think when you look at Garrett, what he brings
is a mindset of a coach's son. And that is, I'm always looking to improve. Every day he comes to workouts, every day he comes to practice, he's looking for areas to improve on. Now, I would tell you that experience is going to be his best teacher in the SEC. Having obviously played a year in the SEC and has seen what needs to happen on a consistent basis is most important, but he brings the individual trait that coaches love because he wants to be taught. He wants to be coached. He wants to be coached hard. He wants to be coached in a manner that gets him to be the best version of himself. I love that about Garrett. You know, we've got Whit Weeks here today. You know, Whit is our driver. He brings the passion. But passion without focus is irresponsible, and he's not that. He's an incredible focus. He's got incredible passion, and it rubs off on our entire defense. And he wants to obviously outplay his brother West Weeks, who's a pretty darn good player as well. But now add Harold Perkins back to the mix, who was out with an ACL last year, a player that can make plays all over the field, and it gives us an incredible linebacker group. And Chris Hilton is with us today as well. And I want to say, you know, Chris had a very difficult injury last year, one that really didn't allow him to be the player he is. He runs 22 miles an hour. He's a guy that can go get the football. He can change games, and we didn't have him virtually the entire year. And that was frustrating to him, and it was difficult for him. But he fought through it. He had a great end of the season for us. And I love the way that he has now used his personality, which isn't one that if he gets up here, he's not going to say a lot, but he's respected by his teammates because of what he does every day and how he does it and how he handled injuries last year. Many of you know that we went into the transfer portal to really build depth, championship level depth across the board. You know, guys like Patrick Payton from Florida State, Baron Brown from Kentucky, Nick Anderson, Jack Pyburn, Bauer Sharp, just to name a few. Mansour Delan at the safety position and corner position. I could go on and I've missed some of them, and I'll make sure that when I get to some of these other locations, I bring 1,500 supporters. Follow that up. Raise that number to about $3.5 million. That's the kind of passion that we have at LSU. It comes back to the one goal that I started with, and that is we want to graduate our players and play for championships. And whether it's on the field, in the classroom, in the community, it's developing great young men on a day-to-day basis. And that's the significance for me. And it's wrapped in that much more than just the success. So I know everybody's excited about the season. Everybody here is excited about it. And we're certainly looking forward to the opportunity because we open up with a great program in Clemson. I know Dabo very well. I respect him and his program and the accomplishments they've had. We've played against each other several times when I was at Notre Dame, and just have a ton of respect. But we've also been 0-3 in openers at LSU under my watch, and we needed to do some things differently this year, and that is embrace this opener. And embracing it in a manner that this is a big game. And it's a tangible goal for our football team to want to be 1-0. It's not let's warm it up into the season. We want to be ready for this football game. And so we're doing everything in our power to give our players the opportunity for that success. So exciting season. Excited about the ability to continue to develop our program and our players, and looking forward to our opener against Clemson University. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach Kelly. If you have a question, please raise your hand. Emma, Annie, or Nathan will get a microphone to you. Again, if you can stand and please give your name and affiliation, that will help. Coach, we're going to go right over here to our right. Scott.
Hey, Brian. Scott Rabelais from the Baton Rouge.
I know you, Scott.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we
very formal.
Yeah, well, trying to look nice for the first day.
You're doing a great job.
What you mentioned your donation and the other donors' donation to try to build the roster this year to get to a championship level. How sustainable is that long term? Not only at LSU but for other programs of similar resources who are trying to make these commitments.
I'm not going to do $1 million every year. No, I know that wasn't your question. I'm kidding. Look, I think it's the nature of where we are in college football. We have revenue sharing. We have NIL. Look, we're early on in the process here, right? This is kind of the first step towards what we're trying to put together. I'm excited about college football. I'm excited that we have something in place relative to revenue sharing. NIL is still something that we have to navigate through. So to answer your question succinctly, I think we still have to be thinking about how we continue to build our support for NIL, because it's not going away, and nor should it, as well as revenue sharing. I think we're in the first stages of where we need to be, but we have to still be moving in that direction.
Coach, we'll go straight down the center aisle.
Hey, Coach. Emily Grace McWhorter from the next round. Historically, LSU quarterbacks in the past have had a pretty significant jump from year one to year two. What do you anticipate Garrett Nussmeier's being as he gets that experience like you mentioned in year two?
That's a good question, Emily. I would say that when you're comparing him to Jaden Daniels and Joe Burrow, that's a high bar for anybody, right? But Garrett is at LSU because he loves LSU and he wants to lead our football team to a championship. And if the Heisman follows with that, I think he's good with that. But I answer the question this way is because all of our conversations with him aren't about individual goals. They're about how do I lead this football team to a championship? And all we've seen is him leading, him being selfless. And his selflessness is going to be the differentiator from last year to this year, as well as the experience that he had playing against really good SEC teams.
Coach, we're going to go over here to our left on the third row on the far aisle.
Jonathan Williams with the On SI Network. You've had some really successful offenses during your time at LSU. I'm curious to hear what you want, some improvements you want from your defense this season, though.
Well, I think we've got an outstanding defensive coordinator and a defense staff. Blake Baker is in my opinion, elite in the field of defensive coordinators. We needed to give him some more tools. And look, I've been the head football coach at LSU, and I know that we have not played the kind of defense necessary to win a national championship. I think we put a roster together in this offseason, along with young players that have taken lumps along the way as they've developed, and given Blake now the tools to play championship level defense. Because clearly the 2023 offensive football team we had was good enough to win a national championship. We weren't good enough as a team. And a lot of that had to do with addressing some shortcomings we had on defense. We think we've done that. I love our roster. I love our team and the way they interact, the camaraderie of our group, the seriousness and focus, their intent. So I think we're going to have a defense that is going to be representative. And look, anytime you go on the road and play a team like Clemson, you better bring a defense with you.
Coach, will go right down in front of me in the second row. Tom.
Coach, really sorry about the bad advice on the elevator.
Listen, I'll tell you what, this is a massive undertaking from where I've been over the last couple of years. He's referring to, I got lost yesterday for about an hour in the Omni. I worked my way out of it, and I blamed you.
Just for a small part. Tom Murphy, Arkansas Democrat Gazette. LSU's traditionally played in-state schools. I wonder what you think the benefits and maybe any bad points to doing in-state schools in football?
Well, when you're trying to balance a schedule, and I've been a proponent of playing the toughest schedule that we can relative to the SEC, there needs to be balance to your schedule as well, because you're looking at opportunities you want to give to your players. You want them to play for championships too. So you don't play 12 SEC schools. So now you're open with 2 opportunities. And in the state of Louisiana, such a passionate base, why not play the schools from your own state and share in the revenue? Share around. If we're going to have to pay somebody to come in and play us, why not pay your in-state schools and take care of them? And some great schools. We're going to play Louisiana Tech and Southeast Louisiana this year, and we're excited about those. So it's really about sharing with those that are in the state and balancing the schedule.
Coach, we'll go straight down that main aisle, just over to the right.
Coach Mike Griffith, Atlanta Journal-Constitution.
Hey, Mike.
Good to see you. I want to ask you, reflecting back on the SEC spring meetings, the narratives that the mood shifted in the room on the different playoff models. If you could share some insight as to why that shifted, one, and then two, another popular narrative is that the Big Ten wants to see the SEC increase their number of league games to get on board. Just kind of your thoughts on that, having coached in that region for several years as Notre Dame's winningest head coach.
Well, thank you for that last piece. That was very nice of you. The check is in the mail. Here's what I would say. Both of those work together. The 2 questions that you have, and this is what I mean, is that I think we would push for as many teams as possible if they were evaluated based upon what their schedule looks like. And so that's why both of those questions kind of dovetail together, in that if we're talking about win-loss record, they're not all the same based upon what conference you're in and who you play. So how many teams that are in this probably have a lot to do with how are we going to select them? What's the selection process going to be? And I think at the end of the day, that selection process will probably be having the end in mind first. And that will then generate the answers to the other questions in terms of how many teams and what's your conference schedule look like in terms of how many you play.
Coach, we'll go over to our right-hand side on near the aisle.
Hi, Coach. I'm Olin Buchanan with TexAgs. My question for you is, everybody knows y'all had, I guess, 4 players from your offensive line drafted, including, I guess, Will was probably the 4th player overall. What kind of progress do you think y'all have made in rebuilding that line? And, can it be as good without Will and guys like Emory Jones?
Well, I don't think you replace a Will Campbell. Certainly, having 4 drafted, they were well regarded, and certainly Brad Davis has done a great job in coaching them. But if you're trying to address graduation in a knee-jerk reaction, right, and not having that planned in advance, you're probably going to take a hit on the offensive line this year. We have been grooming some players for their chance and their opportunity. You remember I started Emory and Will as true freshmen in the SEC, and they held their own. We think we've gone a step further, that we don't have to start a true freshman this coming year, but guys that we've developed. And then, as you know, we went into the transfer portal, brought in Brandon Moore at center, Josh Thompson, some veteran guys from the Big Ten and the ACC who have been in the wars. So you're adding those 2 guys to the mix. DJ Chester started every game for us last year at center. He's a multiple player guy, can play guard or center. And then we've got some younger players that are going to step up that started in the bowl game, and we'll see how that plays. But I'm bullish on our offensive line. I think we're going to be able to produce the kind of things necessary to be a championship team.
We have time for a few more. We'll start over to our left front row.
Coach Dave Shumate, SEC Unfiltered. It seems from like a 35,000-foot view, but there's been a little bit of a philosophical change a little bit over the past years from a positive perspective? You get the transfer portal class, hire some phenomenal coaches, some support staff members. Just feels like there's some good vibes around the program. Just holy. Can you talk a little bit about your relationship with Associate AD, GM Austin Thomas, and how your day-to-day working relationship has been with him in the past year and a half since it's been back in Baton Rouge?
Yeah, I think Austin has done a terrific job in this kind of new order that we're in. Brings a lot of experience being at multiple schools in the SEC. His ability, he's extremely bright and innovative when it comes to, the revenue sharing plan that we had in place, and certainly NIL. But he also knows it's about surrounding himself with great people as well. And I've given him the opportunity to go out and do that. And we've hired some great people that will help in personnel, in recruiting. We've hired some great people in our player dev area that will keep the players. Retention is important as well. Retention is key. And then somebody that can also assist him with contracts and the day-to-day, because, he's involved in a lot. So I've got a great relationship. It's new for me, right? I've never had a general manager, but I thoroughly enjoy the relationship and really the ability for both of us to grow and learn as we go through this exciting new part of college football.
Okay, we have time for two more. We'll go straight ahead of me, about midway back.
Coach Philip Marshall, 247 Sports. You're one of the fortunate ones that has a veteran quarterback this year. Could you just talk about the difficulty of playing that position and growing into that position in this conference?
Yeah, I can't underestimate how important the development was. And I think you all saw it. Jaden Daniels' development for year one to year two was astronomical, if that word even suits it. I mean, it was incredible. Garrett Nussmeier will have a similar jump. It's because you go on the road and it's sold out. You play teams that are so well coached and so balanced and have great players that you have no choice but to learn, develop, and get better, or you're going to be left by the side. And so that's why I'm so confident that experience in this league at the quarterback position is the most important thing. Could you come in and play as a freshman? Absolutely. But there are going to be those moments where you look like a freshman. You look like a first-year player. Garrett will tell you that. And he wasn't a true freshman. He had seen it. He had been there. But being on the field in those situations when everything around you and your best is needed, you need experience. And that, to me, is why he's going to be very successful.
Coach, we'll take one final question to a section to our right, about 3/4 of the way back.
Hey, Brian, Ben Portnoy from Sports Business Journal. You talked a little bit about how we're sort of still in this new stage and new iteration of what college football, college sports look like. When it comes to just broader governance, whether it's the NCAA, College Sports Commission, whoever it is, I guess, what is it that you want to see from those in charge leading college sports, of whether it's structure, whether it's consistency and rulings? I guess, what do you want to see from the governance piece as a football coach?
Transparency and consistency. Those two words are probably the most important thing as we continue to move forward. Now, other things, we would like federal government involvement. I got the Christmas list here. I could give you all those things. But if we start with transparency and we start with the clear communication that is necessary and consistency in approach, look, I know this might not be what you were asking, but it's got to start with coaches. It's got to start with us. I mean, we have to be the stewards of this. There has to be a moral high ground. There has to be ethics in this. And it starts with us. It starts with coaches. If I was at a speaking engagement a few weeks back, and every question about the NIL was trying to find a way around it. Trying to find a way to bring in revenue in some other force. Sooner or later, we've got to take the stand that transparency, consistency, ethics and morality are at the core of this. If that's where we're at, we're going to be able to move to that next step and continue to make progress. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach Kelly, for your time.
Right, that was Brian Kelly, head coach of the LSU Tigers. As we continue on and from SEC Media Days, College Football Hall of Fame is where John Abraham is, as we are continuing there with that. The part at the very end, John, about ethics and the right way to do things and everything. Now, again, Brian Kelly was the very first person on the podium that was not Commissioner Sankey to kind of talk about things and the way that they kind of go about it with this NIL. But what did you think about that ending right there where he was talking about, look, instead of trying to figure out ways to go around this, we just need to figure out the way to actually do it the right way?
Yeah, well, we'll figure that out in time, whatever he decides to do. I don't think Brian Kelly really has a say in it, but I mean, it's going to be an all-out war. I mean, if you try and do the right thing, then you might get left out, and that's going to leave other teams to doing the wrong thing. But at the same time, what is the wrong thing? What is the right thing? When it comes to this landscape, there's still so many uncertainties that we just don't understand fully. And, I mean, back in the day, it used to be, oh, well, a player gets money. That's the wrong thing. Oh, well, a player is signing autographs. That's the wrong thing. But that's an everyday thing nowadays. I mean, players are going to get the money. Players are going to get transferred over from one school to another. They're going to commit, and then they're going to decommit just to commit to another team and not really be committed. I mean, there's so much that it needs to be, put in this encyclopedia of what should be wrong in college sports. And right now, I think that Brian Kelly, is the first of many coaches that's going to have to answer those questions. And he didn't really face him head on, but I think that it's going to be something that we hear a few answers to throughout this week.
Well, and I think that one thing as well that we were talking about that you can look at is at the very end. He was talking about how he's been to all of these stops and everything about people wanting to ask ways to scoot around NIL. And I think that the whole idea of this isn't with, the people he's talking to are boosters or season ticket holders. They are guys that, that will sit down there and they've been a part of this football program for years and decades, and they live and breathe LSU football. And again, there's still these people that think, okay, there's going to be a way around this. Let's figure out what that is. And I think that it was Commissioner Sankey has talked about it, as well as Brian Kelly, about trying to figure out the gray area and getting around this. That is literally all that this is right now. And I think that is going to take somebody that is going to have to step up and say, look, we have got to get something on this where this is what we do. And the problem is with a lot of these coaches, and a lot of this is as far as what Brian Kelly is look, let's be honest. You could tell from the way that the media members were looking at him, like he tried to cut jokes and nobody laughed at this. Like it was, hey, the check's in the mail. And like, everybody's like, okay, yep. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Like, and so I think that the whole thing is like they're cutting through the fakeness of it. And I think that with a lot of these coaches, we understand that this is a different time for SEC football. And I think a lot of these coaches are having to figure this out on the fly, and their jobs are on the line for this. I mean, look, LSU last season, they won 9 football games. You really thinking LSU winning 9 football games for the city of Baton Rouge is anything that they should be proud of? In all reality, that's how you look at this. Is like, look, winning 9 games, that is nothing. You lost 3 in a row. There was a spot in time where you were on like a 6-game winning streak, and then you lost to A&M, to Alabama, and to Florida, and back-to-back games.
I'm waiting for Hugh Freeze. I think he'll have the answers. I'm also waiting for Lane Kiffin because he's the next man up, and we're going to be able to hear that in the later half of the second hour of the show. But lots of things to look forward to as we continue on throughout SEC Media Days. And again, it's a lot of questions, little answers. We'll hopefully get those for you as we go on with the Blitz. John Abraham, Joe Hunk will take it over in the second hour as well. See you guys over there.
Phone lines are open now. 256-576-4977. This is The Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve. And we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs.
We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing. We have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates. Residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Have you discovered Good Company Cafe? The place for breakfast, brunch, lunch, and so much more. Enjoy brunch all day and pair with one of our many seasonal refreshing drinks, including alcoholic and non-alcoholic options. Choose inside or outside on our gorgeous, spacious, dog-friendly patio and have some fun with friends playing yard games in the courtyard. See catering, to-go options, and lots more at goodcompany-cafe.com. Good Company Cafe, 7500 South Memorial Parkway.
It's the Ford Summer Sales Event at Woody Anderson Ford. Hey folks, Bobby White back again, and I'm here to tell you now is the time to get the Ford you've been thinking about. From zero down leases to 0% financing, we've got it going on this summer. Woody Anderson Ford has financing as low as 0% for 48 months, plus zero down payment, plus zero payments for 90 days, plus 2-year, 25,000-mile complimentary maintenance. You can choose a 2025 Escape, F-150, Explorer, or a Mustang. Or how about zero down lease, $499 a month for a 2025 Explorer, F-150, or Bronco, and just $399 a month for Bronco Sport, Mustang, and Escape. Again, these are zero down with complimentary maintenance too. This is a 36-month lease with zero down, zero security deposit, just tax, tag, title, and your good credit. These offers end 9/2/25. It's our Woody Anderson Ford Summer Sales Event, so hurry on down. I'm Bobby White, and I hope to see you soon.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Mike Owen at Owen Home Appliance Center. You know it's hot outside, so cool down with an upright or chest freezer in stock at Owen Home Appliance Center. And don't let those beverages get hot. Get an under-counter ice machine with a built-in pump for just $12.99. Or how about a fridge out by the pool or in the garage for extra cold drinks? You can get a scratch and dent 18 cubic foot refrigerator for just $3.49 while supplies last. Go to OwenAppliance.com to learn more. That's OwenAppliance.com.
What does it mean to be a part of the Southeastern Conference? That you scheduled your wedding and even your child's birth around your school's game? Of course. But it means more than that. It means you're home to hundreds of Fulbright, Truman, Goldwater, and Rhodes Scholars. It means starting out as the birthplace of American public higher education and now leading the way in unmanned spacecraft. This is the SC. And here, it just means more. What does it mean to be a part of the Southeastern Conference? That there's an honest-to-goodness chandelier in your tailgate tent? Perhaps, but it means more than that. It means pioneering medical solutions to predict new flu viruses. It means leading globally diverse teams to eliminate starvation in developing countries. And it means being home to one of the nation's top cybersecurity programs. This is the SEC. And here, it just means more.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
It's training camp week at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, getting bettors ready for the upcoming NFL season. Atlanta Falcons are plus 250 to win the NFC South, 35-1 to win the NFC, 80-1 to win the Super Bowl. Steve McAdoo says his model predicts the Falcons will go over 7.5 wins, and he's bet that at minus 140 based on a system in which McAdoo says the Falcons should have an increase of 20% on their victory total from 8-9 a year ago. VSiN Betting Guide prediction, Falcons over 7.5 wins. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Your Fox 54 weather brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen. Another hot afternoon to be expected across the area for this Monday. We'll see sunshine to begin with, but scattered showers and thunderstorms will come into the forecast in the afternoon. High temperatures once again reaching the lower 90s. Heading into Monday night, will start to dry out a little. Low temperatures fall into the low 70s.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
Second hour, final hour, best hour on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and the Blitz. Joe Hunk, John Abraham with you from SEC Media Days, always brought to you by the wonderfully and amazing Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
That's right, Joe. The guys that you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, make sure you look them up online at FlemingHSV.com to fill out your free quote today. We're getting a lot of interesting things over here, Joe. I just saw somebody pass with a SEC backpack that has a screen on the back that was showing LSU, and it was like switching. Oh, now it's doing a countdown, 3, 2, 1. On top of that, I don't know if you saw over on our Facebook, Joe, a little video. There's a whole college football 26 room that I'm about to go and just exploit and disappear and play some college football because I got to get better apparently.
Yeah, absolutely. You need to. If you did miss the game that John and I played against each other, you can go to our YouTube channel. It is up there, as well as on X and Facebook as we continue to go throughout the day. Now, SEC Media Days is happening. Shane Beamer is scheduled to take the podium in the main room coming up at the very end of the show. That is supposed to be happening around 10:45. So we'll get just a little bit of Shane Beamer before we send it over to Chuck Oliver, who is like a few tables down from where 97.7 ESPN The Zone is set up. And John, hectic first day, I'm assuming that I can go ahead and say for you?
You can definitely say that. I was a little off my game, I will say, whenever we first started out the show. I was expecting to be able to hear you in my ear as well. But you know what? I had to take it back to the original afternoon Blitz. The Bandy Man is back in studio producing our show, which is absolutely amazing. Shout out to him. And I'm just now getting my first Dr. Pepper, strawberries and cream. So this is when the day fully starts. And on top of that, it's not SEC Media Days with 97.7 until we take over half of the tables that are around us. We have 3 tables right now. I don't think anybody's gotten onto us yet.
Yeah.
But we have definitely expanded.
SEC. You said that we could only have the one table. You wanted to cut us down from our original plan. Screw you. We're taking over the entire room, okay?
Yeah.
SEC Network's got nothing on us.
Just keep rolling the tape out. What are they going to do, stop you?
I mean, seriously. How can they do that? Okay,
yeah, no,
exactly. But the cool thing is that today it is LSU Day, it is South Carolina Day, it is Ole Miss Day, and Vanderbilt Day is going, and all 4 teams have brought starting quarterbacks, including the team that hadn't had a quarterback that it's even starting a game for them yet as one of their representatives.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. I walked by Garrett Nussmeier earlier. The first thing I heard him say was, "Can I hit the bathroom?" He was talking to his handlers, of course, not me. And
they're called handlers.
I hope not.
Yeah, they're handlers.
I was thinking to myself, I'm like, we hype up all of these guys. They're football players. They're watched by millions of people, depending on the game that they're playing. And at the end of the day, again, these are just they're human beings. They're kids. I mean, they're younger than me, which is crazy to think about because I'm out here. And this is my 4th year, and I still feel like I don't fully belong. But, of course, I mean, it's just something that comes with it. I mean, these players, they get to experience it. Sometimes it's their 2nd year. Sometimes it's their 1st year. Most of the times, you're Austin Simmons. You haven't even played a game yet. Well, you haven't started a game yet for your team, but you're still going to show up and represent your team. So that must mean that Lane Kiffin has something to say about his young starting quarterback. And I'm excited to hear what he's got to say, as well as how he's going to play on the field, because I will say he looks like Tua Tagovailoa whenever he's in his jersey. He's got his eye paint on, all of that stuff, but his play is drastically different. He's a little less selfless, which means that he's probably going to be able to play a little bit longer of a career.
Yeah, and then you have Lenore Sellers is there.
Mm-hmm.
You also have obviously Diego Pavia, which is, and you just like decide you just want to pop that open.
That was so clean.
It was extremely clean. Like that sounded like a sound effect.
I mean, you got to have it. Dr. Pepper at SEC Media Days, any SEC event, fanfare, the SEC championship, you got to have the Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, so you have all these quarterbacks. Austin Simmons is there. And so I'm curious, though, as we're going through this, and especially throughout the day, because Garrett Nussmeier is the one that has the Heisman odds and talking about the NFL draft. But for you, as we're looking at this day, if we're just focusing on the 4 teams that are going to be in attendance at the College Football Hall of Fame today, rank the quarterbacks that will be there today from the top to the bottom, the best and to the quote-unquote worst, because somebody's got to be last in this poll.
Yeah.
You can't have a 1A, 1B, 1C, and 1D.
Yeah, and I don't think we're to the day when we're going to have that worst quarterback. And honestly, again, it's kind of hard to see who that worst quarterback is because a lot of these quarterbacks are top talents. It depends on the team that they're with. They might not meld well, and on top of that, you might be a Jackson Arnold in a situation where the offensive line's not giving you too much help and the weapons around you just aren't enough. But I think looking at the quarterbacks that are going to be in the building today, I think we have an interesting spread. I think we have 2 of some of the, I would say, most hyped going into the new season in Garrett Nussmeier and in Sellers. And when I'm looking at a quarterback in this day and age, I'm looking at A, can he throw the ball? And B, can he run the ball? Of course, that's the very simple way of explaining it. You got to have the pocket presence. You got to have the awareness. And whenever I look at it, of course, I'm going to go with Garrett Nussmeier as the guy that's got the best pocket presence. He's got the best awareness. Now, when it comes to the feet, I think that's where it drops off. That's where I would throw in Lenore Sellers. So I would go with Garrett Nussmeier first, but then close behind him, just because I want to see a little bit more of what he's got, is Lenore Sellers. I think that last year I was dogging on him too hard. I didn't get to see exactly what he had to offer. He looked goofy in those glasses. Now he doesn't have those glasses, and he's got a season under his belt, and it was a really good one. So I am looking at him with a little bit more expectations. Can that work well? Yes. Can it also work against the quarterback? Of course it can. Right after that, I would go with I'd have to go with Diego, just because right now it's a little bit more unproven with Austin Simmons. I think Diego does have his talents. I think people are thinking just because he's boasting himself up to be this great quarterback, and he of course beat Alabama last year. I think a lot of people are looking at him like he is a little bit more of a big deal, but I still kind of hold him down at the half. The bottom half of the SEC. I don't think he is an elite quarterback just yet. I think I need to see more out of him, and he's got to play a little bit safer. He was one of those quarterbacks that threw himself into the danger. And yes, you love to see it, okay? Steve Aaron McNair, one of the great Tennessee Titans, he was one of those dudes. But it also led to a lot of injuries. And that's something where your team can rely on you until, you're out of the game because you get injured so often. Now, I will say, Pavia, he's got a good body for it, okay? He can run into some dudes and he can take a hit. But again, once those concussions start happening, they happen a lot easier. And it's one thing I'd hate to see happen with his career. And then for Austin Simmons, I think that this kid is very talented. He's very young. I got to see him start a few more games before I can put the actual grade on him. But I do think that he is a close fourth. I think he's just a little bit under Diego Pavia as of right now.
Okay, so going back through that, what is your top to bottom? What is your list?
Nussmeier, Sellers, Pavia, Simmons.
Oh. Okay.
Well, now, I actually got a question for you. Where would you put DJ Lagway?
Well, now we're gonna just throw him in the whole pool of things. I would actually put him below Sellers. That's where I would put him. I would hate to. I would put him above Diego, but I would put him below Sellers just at the time being, because again, quarterback who is a little unproven. He hasn't had as many options, but we have got to see some really good plays, like plays that you'd see Caleb Williams commit. And that's one thing that I think is so awesome about DJ Lagway. And again, the potential that he has and the trust that we're going to have to see from Billy Napier.
Okay. Man, okay, our lists are going to be different. The only one we're going to agree on is Simmons. That's going to be the only one we agree on, only because it's very unknown. Like, he didn't really get much playing time. Even if you go back and look at the bowl game that they played in against Duke, like, he threw like one pass. Okay, so what can't even really go based on that. You're basically just going on, hey, it's a link quarterback.
Yeah.
I actually would put Diego at number 1.
Oh, okay. All right.
Here's the reason for that is it wasn't just about the fact that Diego was responsible for, 2,200 passing yards last year for Vanderbilt. It was also because he protected the football so well. He only threw 4 interceptions total. Like, he protected the football so incredibly well. And people will forget this part about it. He was all top 10 in the SEC in rushing.
Yeah, no, that's the thing that I think is huge about Diego, and that's why I threw that out there. I didn't talk as much as I did about Sellers and his running ability, but Diego Pavia, he's the second most mobile quarterback when it comes to these.
And
maybe even the most. He might be even more mobile than Sellers.
Well, and the reason why I say it also is because last year with Vanderbilt, and it could be the way this year as well, you look at the wide receivers that he was throwing to, they didn't have the talent that the LSU the wide receivers did, the Ole Miss wide receivers. Like, he didn't have any of that talent, and he was only throwing those interceptions 4 times. Garrett Nussmeier would probably be my number 2, only because when you do look at the fact that he threw 12 interceptions at the beginning of the year, or 12 interceptions throughout all of 2024, all but maybe one of those was in the first half of the season. Like, you go back and look, and through like his last 4 games last year, he threw 1 interception, and that was to Baylor in the bowl game. Like, it wasn't, he got so incredibly smart and improved so much with his passing game. And again, you look back at Vanderbilt when he threw for almost 350 yards passing. You can look at what he did against Florida when he threw for almost 300 yards there, didn't throw interceptions. So I would look at him and say, he's probably the number 2. The only reason I would put him at number 2 mainly is because of him being a single threat with just being a pocket style passer. There's nothing against it.
I think everybody can agree on that whenever they look at his body style, the way that he likes to play. I mean, I love that old fashioned quarterback, but it is, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it is kind of weeding out. We're not seeing as many of these guys in the league anymore.
No, and so the pocket passer for him is going to be one where he's only going to get the first down if there's A, B, C, D, and E. And A is still not available. Like, if he goes back to A, then he'll think about running the football. That's the kind of quarterback that he is. And then you look at Sellers. The thing is that with Sellers, the only reason I'm putting him at 3 is just because of how dynamic the other 2 quarterbacks are. Like, if you put him on any other day, he could arguably be 2, if not number 1, when it does come to your quarterbacks, because there's a lot of people in the SEC, and especially with as much as he developed throughout the season, that could say that Sellers is going to be the premier quarterback in the SEC in 2025. Like, you look at all the lists and everything that we went through the month of June, a lot of those had Sellers on there. And I think that is because of the development that he was. Now, Mike Shula, yes, that Mike Shula is the offensive coordinator at South Carolina, and he is what a lot of people are saying was the reason for Sellers' growth throughout 2024. So I'm putting him at it, and I'm the one that said you can't have an A, B, C, and D for all number 1, and that's the reason is because I think that we would put 2 or 3 of these quarterbacks at A, B, and C if we could. So, but if we're doing a 1, there has to be a 1, 2, and 3. I go Pavia, I go Nussmeier, and then I go Sellers. And then a Simmons is only at 4th because it's a TBD.
Yeah, and I like that. I like that we both had separate lists altogether. I mean, again, you look at Austin Simmons, there is a lot to like about what he could do. I mean, he is a mobile quarterback. I would say he's as mobile as Tua. Again, you need to go back to the injuries. He's got to be able to take the hits that he can take. He's got to know when to run out of bounds. He's got to know when to slide.
He's got to know when to hold them. I mean,
exactly.
you're going through this. Like, I'm just waiting for you to say that.
You just got to know when to not dive head first.
Exactly. You just got to know when to slide. How about you learn that, okay? Because there's still quarterbacks in the NFL that don't know how to do that and are getting lit up.
No, you're not wrong. But I do think Austin Simmons could easily be a top 2 in this list if he had a year under his belt. But I mean, he was behind, in my opinion, one of the better quarterbacks in the league at the time. And I do think Ole Miss kind of did waste a little bit of talent because of those few losses. But again, Jackson Dart, he wasn't always clutch. Sometimes it goes the wrong way. And that's what we love about college football. These guys aren't perfect, all right? And you even said it, Joe, in the NFL, they're still not perfect. But there is so much uncertainty that can happen in college football that it opens up so many more storylines that I love to follow. And it also can throw your list out the window, in 2 weeks in. So I love that as well.
And again, like with Garrett Nussmeier, the whole question with him is going to be getting comfortable with some of these transfer wide receivers. You bring two in, both from SEC schools, and one of the biggest ones and the biggest question mark is going to be a Nick Anderson, who you think is most likely going to be your wide receiver one. He only played in one game last year because of an injury, but then you go back and look at what he did his redshirt freshman season. He started the last half of the games for Oklahoma while they were still in the Big 12, and he had almost 800 yards of receiving just through all of those games that he played in. And so you're looking at it going, hold up, this man had 10 touchdowns his redshirt freshman year. So I know a lot of people forget about, somebody whenever they don't play, but he was a part of those Oklahoma wide receivers last season that did not get on the field. And when they came to Auburn and they only had basically 3 walk-ons and, somebody that they just called up from the intramural squad, that was the reason why, is because of the injuries to wide receivers like Nick Anderson.
Well, I think Nick Anderson's going to look really good in that LSU uniform. I think he's going to look like the type of wide receiver that LSU's been able to bring in. And it's going to be interesting because Brian Kelly, he's still pretty new when it comes to being a coach for this team. We think about LSU's wide receivers in the past. You're thinking the Odells. You're thinking the Jarvis Landrys. You go down the list and you've got so much talent. And I think Nick Anderson falls right into it. 6'4", 209 pounds. He's got the perfect build for a speedy yet tall wide receiver who's going to bring in some touchdowns in the back of the end zone. But, Joe, you want to take us to break? Because I can take us to break, but we're still getting used to this whole separated thing. I miss you, bro.
I miss you too, man. It was kind of weird sitting at the house last night, and I was talking to my wife, and she goes, "So what's the plan for tomorrow?" And I was like, "I don't know. I don't feel John near me anymore. It's not." It's those separated
I was trying to call you,
souls.
damn it. Why didn't you pick up your damn phone?
You texted me and you said, "Hey, call me when you can." Well, I didn't get that until the next morning, so I text John and I go, "Bro, if you still need me, hit me up." And I don't hear from you until the end of Sunday, where you go, "Hey, man, it's going to be like old times with the 3 of us back here." And I was like, "Oh, okay. All right. Well, I guess, that doesn't matter. You must have been too busy enjoying everything in Atlanta on Sunday night." I am so sorry.
I appreciate the wake-up call this morning, though, John. I appreciate it because he calls me at 5:30 this morning our time. I'm just like, hello. He's like, "Yo, are you at the studio yet?"
Yes, because he saw it was 6:30 and he's going, "Oh crap, it's 6:30."
The time's been weird here. Time's been so weird.
It is, and so I'm having to relay things to John. It's like, "Hey, this letting you know this is Eastern time, not Central time. This is Central time, not Eastern time." But when we come back, one thing that John just said a second ago, and I want to harp on it because we are obviously mainly me. We're like piranha when it comes to Hugh Freeze. Through his first 3 seasons, this is his 3rd year.
Joe.
Joe.
I got Ike Jones is right next to me. We could bring him on this conversation.
No. It doesn't have to do with Hugh Freeze. I'm using Hugh Freeze as a transition.
Okay. Just make it sure.
This is Hugh Freeze's 3rd season, but you just said that we've got to give Brian Kelly a little bit of space because he's still new at LSU. So does Brian Kelly need to step the game up in his 3rd season, or as what he has had as far as success over the first 2 or the first 3 years deserve him a little bit of slack going into 2025? We'll talk about that when we come back. The Blitz phone lines are still open to you. 256-576-977. Yeah, Bandy was ready.
The muscle memory kicked in.
Just in case he was ready. We'll continue on the Blitz from SEC Media Days 2025 on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV.
Joe Hunk, John Abraham. You can watch the Blitz live now on X at 97.7 ESPN.
Eagle Masonry and Insulation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. You've been paying on that life insurance policy for years, but maybe you don't really need it anymore, or it's gotten too expensive. Well, before you just let it expire, let Neighbors Insurance Solutions share with you some alternatives that you haven't considered. Don't throw away something that still may have great value for you. If you want to learn more about what Neighbors Insurance Solutions can do for you, call 256-763-7693. A death benefit could be a life benefit. Learn more at 256-763-7693.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedics Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior doors, or window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home Window windows and doors are made here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today. Tom Abraham here for my friends at North Alabama Mortgage. Are you thinking about home improvements? Well, use your equity now and refi later. Or use your equity to eliminate consumer debt forever, then refi to a lower rate and shorter term when rates drop. North Alabama Mortgage can also help you if you're thinking about buying an investment property or a second home at the lake or the beach or in the mountains. We have great programs to make that happen. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Yeah. I don't know whose spoon that is.
Me either. I hope that you didn't lick it.
I think it was Drew's. I'm
Did
not
you
going to
lick
touch that. No, I didn't lick the spoon.
Okay, no, you said I don't know whose spoon it was. It was. Let me correct something from going into the last break. Hugh Freeze is in his third season. Brian Kelly's in his fourth season. Let me emphasize that.
It was in 2022. It was his first year, and that was my first year doing the SEC Media Days, and that's whenever he was talking about his Bayou accent that he's got. He's got a Northern Bayou accent, and I was like, this guy stinks.
No, this guy is just a liar. And so that is, and that's where he just talked to the media just a little while ago. And coming up here in about 20 minutes, Shane Beamer is going to be taking the podium. So we'll have some audio from that to wrap up SEC Media Days Day 1 for the Blitz. We'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. and it'll be far less hectic because Day 2 is when you kind of start hitting your groove.
Yeah.
Of everything that is going. I am back in studio.
We also don't have to
SEC
set up.
Media Days.
We also don't have to set up because apparently we had to do that today as well. So that's why we were here super early.
I thought you guys were getting there yesterday at 5 p.m.
We weren't able to set up yesterday, so a little bit of change going on here at SEC Media Days. But it's all good. I mean, now that we're set up, tomorrow we're going to get in here. I mean, we're not going to have to be here at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then there. I mean, look, Joe, I didn't even get any sleep last night. All right, I was sleeping on an unfamiliar bed. Tom was in the room with me. He wasn't in the same bed. He chose the big bed. I got the cot in the corner.
Yeah, thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, I mean,
just had to make sure.
My son will sleep in the bed, but he's 6. So, it's different, a little bit different on there.
Daddy never let me sleep in the bed whenever I was young.
Yeah.
We were built like that.
Yeah, trust me, technically, son sleeps on a nugget right beside the bed, and then there's that point in time where I'm half asleep, and he knows it, so he just goes, "Can I get in the bed?" I'm like, yeah.
But you were talking, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. You were talking about Brian Kelly and the difference right now between him and Hugh Freeze, because I do feel like you're making some sense right now. I mean, I brought up Brian Kelly like he's still pretty young in this league. I mean, this is a 60-plus-year-old coach that's been in the SEC for now 4 years. And, we're looking at a guy like Hugh Freeze, who I think this is totally different. I think we're looking at a guy like Brian Kelly who was able to inherit a team with a little bit more talent. He was able to keep that talent, and he was also able to add on to that talent. Now, they've been able to accomplish the biggest goal yet? No. But I think they've been able to keep it at a steady pace that can keep fans happy. I mean, LSU is always a team that you think of that's going to win 9 to 11 games, and I think he's been able to just hit that mark perfectly.
So can you just, like off the top of your head, just because I'm randomly love asking you questions, can you think of the other head coaches that were also hired in 2022 that have already started to have success enough that you don't question what they are doing at the university?
Oh, 2020. Like I can remember the new coaches like Mike Elko and then those guys from last year.
Okay.
All right.
So
2022, that was a little bit different.
No, because here's some of them. Okay. Mario Cristobal in Miami was hired in 2022. Already, again, hasn't made it to the college football playoff, but the success that they had last year.
Mm-hmm.
Brett Lashley became the head coach at SMU in 2022 and already made it to a college football playoff. You have Tony Elliott at Virginia, Brent Pry at Virginia Tech, Sonny Dykes at TCU. It
was a good start.
Dan Lanning at Oregon was 2022.
That's huge.
Lincoln Riley is at USC. So now that's where I pause this, okay? Because you can also look at, obviously, Marcus Freeman, who replaced Brian Kelly. He was also hired in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
You put Lincoln Riley at USC and compare him to what Brian Kelly has done at LSU in the same amount of time. Going back to 2022 when these two hires were made, which one did you think would have been more successful at said university?
I was honestly thinking Lincoln Riley. I mean, it wasn't a terrible time whenever he left Oklahoma. I mean, this was a 10-win team whenever he left Oklahoma. He had Heisman Trophy winners out the wahoo, and on top of that, he was going into another school that had a Heisman Trophy winner already on it. I mean, it was a team that was going to win a Heisman Trophy with Caleb Williams. I mean, Lincoln Riley I would say he was set up a little bit better. Now, do I think that it's going the right way? I think it's going in the wrong direction, honestly, for Lincoln Riley. Whereas with Hugh Freeze, I mean, what did Brian Harsin leave him, Joe? I mean, come on. I mean, this is a dude. I'm being real.
Wait.
I mean, I'm being real. I'm looking at a dude that inherited a team that he had to kind of start building up from the ground up. Brian Harsin did a great job. He was a great person, and he was a great dude at talking about his cards. That's as far as it went.
Man, I love that my coach was a good person as we keep going 5-7.
See, that's why he's not there anymore.
No, but see, here's the thing as well is when you go by recruiting rankings, okay, like we look at recruiting rankings, but see, here's the thing now in 2025. Mm-hmm. I know that we focus on where a team is ranked in 2025 when it comes to the recruiting rankings as far as, this guy signed this kid out of high school. He signed this kid out of high school. He's got this one. He's got this 5-star, this 4-star. Honestly, now I kind of want to look at who is leading the transfer portal. Like in 2025, what were the top 5 teams in the transfer portal rankings to end the year?
Okay.
Like going into this, it's like, I'm going to give you free reign in this.
Is this a John Abraham quiz game?
It's kind of a John Abraham quiz game, okay? It kind of is, okay?
Bandy, find it. Find the sounder.
I didn't prep Bandy for this. I didn't think we were going to go down this route. But I'm just asking, can you name the 5 teams that were in the top 5 of the recruiting rankings for transfer portal at the end of the 2025 period that players that are going to play this year?
Okay. So give me Ohio State.
Incorrect. What?
Oh, okay.
Ohio State was 26th.
Oh, wow. Okay. Huh.
Here, can we give him a hint?
No,
you're gonna
no
hints.
No hints. No hints. Because again, it's not like I'm asking him about, Dwayne State University out of whatever random city. Like, these are all known schools.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, yeah, but there's still 136 of them. Give me Oklahoma.
I will tell you, Oklahoma is a no as well.
Okay.
Oklahoma was 12th in the rankings according to 24/7. There are 2 SEC teams in this.
Okay.
In the top 5.
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss was number 4. They brought in 30 transfers.
Ooh, wow.
30. So they brought in 30 transfers and they brought in like 20 signees from the transfer class. That's 50 new players on this team. This is the reason why you cannot talk about Brian Harsin like this. You have the ability to 100% flip your roster in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
You're not wrong. And I'm going to go with the other SEC team. I'll say Florida.
Florida was not in the top 5. I am actually looking for where the Florida Gators are ranked in this. Where are the Florida Gators ranked? Hold on.
I'm seeing the Seminoles at 6.
I'm about to say, I'm going to have to do like that, one of those like searches where I go FLOR.
You don't got to do that.
No, absolutely. I actually have to do that as a matter of fact.
We got a guy that might know actually a thing or two about a thing or two because he's been here.
No, you want to know? You know the reason why I say that? Because Florida wasn't even in the top 100 in transfers.
Wow.
They were at 116 in transfer portal
I just threw them
rankings.
out there. I'll be real with you, Tom. Other than the beautiful Ole Miss Rebels, who brought in a lot of talent for 2025 with the transfer portal.
Half of John's brain.
Who else in the SEC was ranked top 5 in the transfer portal? Bringing in players.
Is this like a quiz or something?
Joe likes to do this.
Joe knows the answer?
Yeah,
He knows the answer. Jonah has the answer?
Yes, I have the answers. The only one he's got right. Only one he's got right is Ole Miss. LSU is number 1.
Okay, there you go.
LSU was number 1. They brought in 18 transfers.
I'm a professional at this. I also just heard Brian Kelly say that we brought in a record number of transfers. So I guess there's that too. Joe, I wanted to say to you,
yes.
Now, were you here in Atlanta when it was here 4 years ago? Did you come with your previous employer or no?
I have 1 in Atlanta. I don't know how many times it's been to Atlanta, but I have been to one.
This will be the third. Have you been? Were you here when I was in the College Football Hall of Fame? Before it was in the hotel.
It was in the hotel when we were in that random room that they had like back hallways.
So I just wanted to tell you that your former coworkers all wished you the best. They wanted me to tell you that they're thinking about you, and they were excited about your new baby.
Thank you.
And so they were. So they all Dawn and the whole crew were all wanted to say they're thinking about you, and congrats on the new baby.
Yeah, I gave Slay the nugs.
I actually texted Slay this weekend because I thought that Slay's entering the Tennessee Hall of Fame. Sports Hall of Fame. I thought that it was this past weekend. So I texted him on Saturday, like, good luck, bro, go kill it. And he's like, what are you talking about? I was like, is that the ceremony not tonight? He's like, no, it's next Saturday night. I'm like, well, my heart was in the right place, and I'll text you next Saturday as well. So that it is. I love those guys, miss them. I still talk to a lot of them periodically. So I appreciate them saying that.
Yeah, no, it's like old home week, here for me. I mean, it's gotten to be that way. It's just so stunning how much it has changed. And I was talking to Slay, and I told him when we were getting our credentials this morning, I said to him, I said, 22 years ago when I came to my first one, there was 300 media members. There's 1,200 now.
Yeah.
There was 300 media members, and we all walked out. We walked in, registered, and we were all given a big travel suitcase with handles on it that had embroidered SEC on it. It was every single member of the media. You got this gift. It was a beautiful gift.
You also had a big box that had all of these different media.
And we had a
guys in 'em.
slap nuts that would take the boxes down. I think Joe had to do it one year. Probably take the boxes down to the car, to the truck. We're like, oh, here, take all these boxes down to the car. We had 2 big boxes of media guides that were up to 500 pages. Then the SEC came out and said, they got to limit your media guide to 207 pages. So all the media guides got smaller. And then they started giving us CDs. They started giving us the little card. It looked like a card cracked open and went into a thing. Now they just give us a site that you go to and download it.
Yeah, you
don't even get anything. You don't even get a thumb drive now.
I downloaded every one of the media guides right before the show started today.
Yeah.
I just went there and downloaded every one of them and threw them into a folder, and I've got every single one of those now.
Yeah, that's what they do. And I don't know, did they give us, I'm yelling over to Steve over here, did they give us player bios? You know, they used to always have I didn't see it there's no player bios? Yeah, there's no player bios anymore. Now they have the listing on the big kit that they give you, the pack that they give you. They have the listing of every single person that's attended media days over the last 25 years. Who cares?
We're going to cut this guy.
Who cares who went to media days?
We're going to kick this guy off the show.
A couple of years ago.
Tom Abraham show's right around the corner.
You're the one that invited him on.
I only invited him.
He didn't invite me on. I just grabbed the headset to tell you about how everybody is giving you love.
He just came in, said the right answer, and it's like, all right, I'm done.
Suitcase. We used to get the suitcase. And then when it got to 500 media members, we got this beautiful Pebble, like I got that big Pebble padded thing and kit and everything and pens and stuff like that. And then we got a travel thing that hung up a shaving kit that would unfold and hang up that you'd use in a hotel.
Now
you get nothing.
I got a lanyard with my goofy face on it. That's what it's got.
Now you get nothing. Yeah. So there you go. And they used a picture of me from 12 years ago or 13 years ago. And the girl kept looking at my thing and looking at me and looking at it again. Like she wasn't sure that was me. That picture is 2010. How long ago was that?
I don't know.
That's a 15-year-old picture. A 15-year-old picture.
Still looks the same.
Look how dark my hair is.
There's 2 types of Tom Abraham. There's the bald Tom, and then there's the Tom with the hair.
And what's funny
is goatee Tom.
Is with Slay. I remember this because Slay also had to. Everybody has to put a picture in. Slay from one year to the next when we went to Super Bowl and when we went to SEC Media Days. He had changed so much that we accidentally submitted his picture from like 2 years ago, and they didn't think that was him.
Yeah.
Whenever he was going, he was like, dude, no, this is me. Like he was having to show them like I lost like 60 pounds. He was doing all this. They didn't think it was him when we submitted the image in there. So yeah, no, you can change a little bit in 15 years.
So Joe, you got to see this setup. Who set up? Did you shoot any of that?
That's the War Report right there.
What is it called? The War Report?
The War Report.
Yeah, the War
so
Report.
they got chairs. And they're not even willing to sit on the padded chairs that they got. They got extra padding to put in the padded chairs. I mean, that's pretty high level. Beautiful camera. John, you got to take a picture
They
of
also
that
brought the whole
and
PC.
send it to Joe.
Oh,
I mean, you got everything. You should see the equipment that they've got over there.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, people go all out for this. Like you've got some 4K, 8K cameras sitting around
Is
there
this
now.
the camera you're on?
Yeah,
right
that's
now?
the camera I'm on. Oh, come on now.
Watch this. Hang on.
Oh, come on.
All right, Joe.
Wow. I'm getting
There you
sick
go.
just
Look
looking
at it. Can you see it, Joe?
Look at the professionalism.
Look at the setup. I'm serious.
look
You
at that.
see that thing?
We had
That's like a
setup-
whole PC rig right there. My
It
goodness.
is a whole PC rig. They're probably going to be playing some like Marvel Rivals. Tom, you're going to take down the whole thing because
I got you. There you go.
we have the quality cameras now that you
I
can
know.
just went
Perfect.
and then made it turn around. You can
I-
turn the
Yeah. It's crazy.
I picked the whole tripod up.
It almost stayed on me whenever you did that.
I picked the whole tripod
He's
up and
picking
turned
it up like it's 2010.
He gave me this camera. He said, here, take some pictures. He gave me a camera, and I'm trying to take a picture that wouldn't work. The lens cap was on. I'm like, why can't I see anything? I opened up the little back flap thing, and I couldn't see anything. And I'm like, and I gave it to John. I said, do something special. There's something wrong with this camera.
And all
he
the
takes the
listeners
lens cap off.
now understand the reason why Tom never has his webcam working at Baumhauer's when we're going. Like, I mean, this is it in a nutshell.
There's not even a lens cap on it.
No,
Jeez.
absolutely
What is the War
not.
Report? That's not a radio show.
It's Auburn. It's a YouTube channel. They're actually here. They're recording, and that's how they're doing it. So they're not even live streaming.
What's that thing flashing and everything like that? Looks
That
like
is a PC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's a tower.
That's a
Technical
very
term.
that's a very
That's a
powerful
tower.
one.
That is a powerful one.
Do we have to hit a break, Joe?
Yes, we do.
All right, Joe, I'll talk to you in an hour.
Lane Kiffin's about to be on the podium.
No.
Shane Beamer.
No, he is not.
Oh, sorry, Shane
I've
Beamer.
said this
My
5
bad.
times.
Lane will be on during my show. We'll have Lane live.
Yes.
We'll have Lane live during my show, and then we'll see what happens after.
I don't have my computer in front of me to see the whole thing. I need paper. I think paper is a good idea. But either way, we'll take it to break. When we get back, though, we'll continue on and throw it to the podium for Shane Beamer. He is the South Carolina Gamecocks head coach, and we'll be hearing from him soon enough. So stick with us here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone, and WZZN TV.
This is The Blitz with Joe Hunk and John Abraham. 256-576-4977.
Never went down to Georgia. He was looking for a soul to steal.
The Drive in Atlanta is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Rise Real Estate, and Adams. We know great homes. Eagle Masonry and Insulation will save you money. Jacob Title, the place to call for all your closing needs. And by Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we show up.
Calling all UAH Charger students and parents. Welcome to Nexus, the first student apartment community built especially for you. Nexus is brand new, located next to the UAH Fitness Center. Enjoy your own bedroom, bathroom, fully furnished units, kitchen, washer, dryer, study room, and game lounges. And best of all, an easy walk to campus and classes. Call today to enjoy the complete college experience. Move in before fall classes start. 256-683-3939. And go Chargers.
There's a lot of talk these days about who's the biggest. I'm attorney Gary Lackey. Bigger doesn't equal better.
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. We know we're not the biggest. We don't want to be.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. We're big enough to handle your case and get you the help you need,
but small enough to welcome you. Where you're never just a number, you're part of our family.
The Lackey Law Firm, 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Hey there, everybody. Bob Baumhauer here, letting you know that we understand that times are tough and we truly believe value matters. So, by popular demand, we brought back our Inflation Bites menu featuring scratch-made meals that will make the whole family smile, and your wallet too. Menu items start at just $7.99, and any entree comes with a free beverage. Try our classic tailgate burger for just $8.99, or our hearty Bam Bam chicken platter for $9.99. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
Wrapping up the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Joe Hunk, John Abraham.
Yeah.
As SEC Media Days 25 is happening right now in the College Football Hall of Fame. Shane Beamer is going to be coming up to the podium in just a few moments. We'll give you a little bit of that before we wrap up the show today. John, to finish out the list that we were doing beforehand to talk about college transfers, Ole Miss is at number 4. Number 5 was Oregon.
I was gonna guess Oregon.
Number
but
4
again, we were thinking SEC team.
was Ole Miss. Number 3 is Miami. But here is the reason why you started seeing some things towards the end of last week in the Big 12. Texas Tech brought in 21 transfers, and they are sitting at number 2 in the transfer portal going into this season. This is the reason why they are picked to win the Big 12 and why a lot of people picked them after the Big 12 Media Days last week.
That's definitely interesting. And I mean, right now, Texas Tech has been on a heater when it comes to getting in talent. Of course, their softball team had a lot of talent. They brought them in, that pitcher that they were paying $1 million to. I mean, you can only imagine what they're going to be paying some of these other players. Well, I mean, that's the most notable one, Joe.
Well,
I mean, come on now.
It It is, but it's also like we're looking at this in a way of saying, look, man, that's going to be common now. Like, unless, I mean, now obviously I say common, like as in whoever paid her the $1 million can justify that she's worth $1 million for whatever company they're working for. Then yes, absolutely. The same thing is going to go with SEC and anybody else, because that's where now you're seeing the NIL Go program having to approve and deny a lot of this stuff because of justification. So we'll see how much money some of these players are going to be making as this continues along.
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
I'm about to say, on top of the fact that schools are able to pay players directly now, not have to just dip into their NIL fund. I mean, you're going to be seeing these astronomical numbers. I mean, from Texas Tech offering one player $2.1 million guaranteed.
Yep.
No, yeah, it's going to be wild. But again, they're trying to put a limiter on it. They're trying to put a limiter on it, and on top of that, of course, you're still going to have these NIL funds that are a part of it. But Joe, Shane Beamer is getting to the podium. We're going to throw it over there. If you are watching on WZZN TV, you'll be able to listen to the entirety of this interview. If you are not, and you're just chilling out or listening to us on the radio, we're done. I mean, we'll be back tomorrow at this exact same time. But Tom Abraham's show going to be at noon, and he's going to have a bunch of great interviews. And then we're still going to have the drive later on. That means the drive gets to do a show, and everybody's going to be here. Wes is going to be here. The drive with Wes and Steve.
It's because, again, All-Star Weekend's happening as well. Home run is going to be tonight over at Truist, so there is no Braves baseball to cut anybody off.
Let's go, Matt Olson.
Yeah, Matt Olson, who's replacing Ronald Acuna Jr., which we didn't find out about until afterwards.
Damn it.
And I made bets on this. Thanks. I appreciate that, Matt Olson.
Well,
better win. Actually, I got Cal Riley winning.
I said, be the first Brave to win it, please.
I'm making bets on Shane Beamer to be a little bit more confident up on the podium this year, as he's got a good Gamecock squad going into 2025. And now we get to hear him talk about that team here at SEC Media Days.
Would have loved to have been a part of it. They wanted us, and I think that speaks volumes about the power of this league. Thankful for Commissioner Sankey. Admired him from afar before I got into this conference and the role that I'm in right now, and admire him even more now that I've been in this league 5 years. Always will be grateful for his leadership back in 2020 that allowed us to have a college football season. And very glad that he is leading us in this new era of college athletics. And then thanks to all of you for all you do to promote our game. I know you make a lot of sacrifices as well throughout the year. So grateful for you guys, and thanks to the SEC staff for putting on such a awesome event every single year when we come here to this as well. Real quickly, before I get started on anything football-wise, just wanted to send my prayers to the family of Joe Monmonier. Joe was the athletic director at Hilton Head High School in Hilton Head, South Carolina, that died last week tragically and unexpectedly. Has two beautiful daughters. Oldest daughter Ava just graduated from South Carolina in May, and as you can imagine, that family's going through a lot right now, and we're certainly thinking of them. South Carolina is a special state. It's a small state. It's a very close-knit state, and I know that Hilton Head High School community. I've been there for a football game on a Friday night, and it's a special community. I know they're hurting right now, so thankful for them. And I see the sign over there, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Bob Holt, because I know every year that I've been here at SEC Media Day, I could always count on him sitting right there in the front row, and certainly miss having him here. I was never a part of any team that he covered, but I know what he meant to the SEC, and certainly miss Bob as well. You guys will learn more about our players if you haven't already, but the three that are here with me today, Lenora Sellers, DQ Smith, and Nick Barrett, embody everything that we want our program to be about. They embody everything that college athletics is about, in my mind, in 2025. All had different stories, unique stories. None of them were your 5-star recruit that everybody talks about that comes to the school and has a great career. These are all guys that weren't maybe as highly recruited as they should have been, but they've come to South Carolina, they've developed, and they are leaders on our team. Their voices matter on our team, and that's why they're here today. They love the University of South Carolina, and putting on a Gamecock uniform means something to them without a doubt. Nick Barrett is a North Carolina native. He was committed to the University of South Carolina when I got hired as the head coach. He stayed committed and he came. He's unselfish. Last season would have been his last season, but he came to us early in the season and brought up the idea of redshirting, being able to play in 4 games. He knew we were loaded at defensive tackle last season and really wanted to maximize his last year at Carolina, and redshirted. We used him in select games last season. Now he's back and he's a leader on that defensive line for us. He's a great example of what we're trying to do from a recruiting standpoint. Early in my tenure at South Carolina, we only had 1 player from the state of North Carolina on our team, and it was Nick. And that was ridiculous. To be a border state, so many players in the state of North Carolina that want to come across state lines and play SEC football, we knew we needed to attack the state of North Carolina harder in recruiting, and we absolutely have. Since then, guys that are on our team right now and guys that are committed to come play for us next season as well. Nick's doing right off the field. He's a 4-time SEC academic honor roll and just graduated in May. DQ Smith, Columbia, South Carolina native, high school quarterback. When people talk, or when we talk to high school prospects, they all say they want to be developed when they come to college. Well, DQ is a guy that has been developed. He came to South Carolina, wasn't highly recruited. I think we had to beat out Georgia Southern for him. He was a high school quarterback, came here by game 3. He was starting for us as a true freshman, high character guy, and has been a key player for us on defense and special teams. He'll graduate in December. And then obviously Lenora Sellers, returning captain, as voted on by his teammates, our returning MVP, as voted on by his teammates. Last season, he was playing as well as any quarterback in the nation the last month of the season, doing great off the field, has been on the dean's list twice, certainly currently doing an internship with contract construction in Columbia for his major as well. His best football is still in front of him. When you look at our team offensively, we offensively have a new offensive coordinator and Mike Shula. That was an easy decision for me to promote Mike to be the coordinator. He was a part of our program last year. He's literally been in the shoes that Lenoris is in as he was a starting quarterback in this conference. And he's been in the shoes that I'm in as a head football coach in this conference as well. He's already made us better as an offense on and off the field. When you look at us, we've got to replace the interior of our offensive line and a lot of playmakers at the running back and tight end position. But I'm excited about the potential of the guys returning and how we take the next step as an offense under Coach Shula. Defensively, it's year 5 with Clayton White as our defensive coordinator. He's done a remarkable job in the 4 seasons leading our defense. It's great to have him back and our entire defensive staff back around him as well. We've got to continue to be opportunistic as a defense. We've led the SEC in takeaways since 2021, and we've got to continue to be that group. We played great defense last season, but we've lost a lot of production, particularly right up the middle of our defense at defensive tackle, linebacker, and safety. But the group that we return is very athletic and really excited about the potential of the next group of guys to make their impact on our defense. And then in special teams, this will be my 26th year in coaching coming up. And I don't believe I've ever been a part of a team that has to replace literally every key part of their special teams units like we do this season. We'll have a new punter. We'll have a new place kicker. We'll have a new kickoff guy. We'll have a new holder. We'll have a new snapper. We'll have a new punt returner, and we'll have a new kickoff returner. So that is, we've been very spoiled. Every punt that we've punted the football at South Carolina since I've been the head coach, Kai Kroger has punted the ball. So the first time we punt, and hopefully that won't be anytime soon, we'll have a new punter out there as well. But those are guys that are young and talented, and excited to see what we do in year 2 under Joe DeCamillis as our special teams coordinator. We've got to continue to be aggressive and opportunistic there. We've led the SEC in block kicks since 2021. We've got a strong culture in Columbia on and off the field. That's evident with what we're doing academically with the number 2 graduation success rate in the SEC. Currently, when we kick off in 48 days back here in Atlanta, we'll have 19 players on our team that have already graduated from the University of South Carolina. When we play postseason football in December, that number will be 31 players that will be graduates of the University of South Carolina. Last semester, we had 31 players make the dean's list, and the last 2 semesters have been the best semesters academically.
In the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care.